Hey, welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master Universe Podcast. I'm your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince. Hopefully you're doing well. It is a Tuesday. Able to actually sit down today and record a podcast before work. I usually do these in the morning. Yesterday I was unable to because they had an emergency. I had to come in early when they called me in the morning. So, well, whatever. Anyway, the DC Kickstarter for DC Heroes is out finally, so you can go check that out. Just Google it or go to the Kickstarter website and find it there. Probably on the front page at this point. It had funded in a matter of I don't know, an hour or two. One of the things that people have noticed about it is that the fact that there is no PDFs, and when they kept saying we're treating this like historical documents, they meant it. And that was basically their hidden wording for saying, yeah, we're just reproducing the material so we can reproduce it, and that's about it. Because there is some type of thing that you can do that with books. You can take the presentation and change the outer covering or change some of the artwork, but as long as the words stay together and you're preserving it, I guess you can reproduce it according to what they were saying. So, so that's that. Anyway, there's no PDFs, and it doesn't look like there's a third edition or anything else, and I haven't looked at any stretch goals yet, but there's no Blood of Heroes. People were complaining about that. They're going for reproducing DC Heroes. It's the 40th anniversary of DC Heroes, not Blood of Heroes. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's head into something for AD&D today. I started thinking of what I wanted to do, and then someone suggested to me, why don't you just randomly roll something when you do magic items and stuff like that? I'm like, all right, that's not a bad idea. So I rolled today, and I got Wand of Enemy Detection, which is probably, I don't know, an item that a lot of people will think of is utterly boring. You get 2,000 experience points for it, and it's worth 10,000 gold. If you're a DM that gives out XP and gold per XP, and if they sell it, 10,000 gold if it's worth that much, depending on the black market that you're selling it in. But this magic item is on page 135, if in case you're wondering. This wand gives off a pulse and points in the direction of any hostile creatures intent upon the bearer of this device. The creature or creatures can be invisible, ethereal, astral, out of phase, hidden, disguised, or in plain sight. Detection range is a 6-inch sphere, which is 60 feet. The function requires one charge to operate for one turn. The wand can be recharged. Now, the thing with wands, before we get into the whole breaking this down, is that, wands generally have about, something like 80 to 100 charges on them, usually. And obviously the DM can, make it less or more. Your campaign, do what you want. And also wands have command words. People kind of forgot that over the years. That all wands have command words to activate to use it. Now, the command words generally are found with the wands or carved into the wands, but there are times that they don't, and I like those campaigns the best, and that's how I was always playing AD&D, was when we found wands or were given wands, we never knew how to use them until we went to identify it from a magic user, or we went and found a bard or something that knew the history of the wand by looking at it. Oh, I know the great blah blah blah, and he told us a story, or maybe we had to go find something somewhere to tell us the command word of this wand. Now, I don't recall offhand if identify will give you the command word, and I believe it doesn't, but you can include it with it as long as you're fine with that as a DM. Make it a little easier, but I like the fact that there's a command word, and I hate the fact that they took those things away. Anyway, so this wand gives off the pulse and points the direction of any hostile creature intent upon the bearer of this device. So the creature has to know or be aware of your presence somewhat. So these were, this is one of the magic items that I believe was when D&D was mostly dungeon crawl based, like original D&D. And this this wand was kind of important when it was inside of a dungeon. So now, does this detection go through walls and stuff like that? Yeah, I would think so. If someone's hiding behind a wall and his intent is just to ambush you, yeah, I think it would be able to go through the wall and tell you that somebody's hiding there. Because it can be, it says ethereal, invisible, out of phase, hidden. Hidden would be behind a wall. Hidden would be behind something disguised in front of you. So this is a weapon actually a lot of parties probably would love to use, because especially my party would probably use nonstop, because every time they think NPCs, after one NPC betrayed them, that all NPCs have intent upon hurting them. Now there are some arguments, as I was looking online about this, that the intent upon the bearer of the device, and people were arguing about the fact that the item, if a creature is behind, say, a door in a dungeon and is not aware you're there, there is no intent of ill will or hostile action against you, thus wouldn't trigger the wand for you. Others are like, well, the creatures are in there, they're going to be hostile to you regardless, so it should show up. You're the DM, you decide how that works in your game. Some players like to do, some DMs like to do it either way. I don't see a difference. Whatever works in your game, to be honest. Magic resistance probably will. What am I looking for? Magic resistance will work with this wand. So if there's like a demon, a devil, or something, an angel, whatever you want to call it, that has some type of magic resistance, it will protect them from the wand showing them as hostile intent towards the bearer of the wand. Now you have to roll that, and you only get one chance to do it. So regardless of how many charges you do, once it's blocked, it's blocked. One thing that I also want to point out is on this wording is direction of hostile creatures intent upon the bearer of this device. So if there is an NPC in your campaign that is plotting and revenge against a certain player character that does not have the wand, and say your magic user, checks the clerk at the counter in the general store, and he comes up as fine, but maybe that clerk knows that fighter in the group from another town long ago, and that fighter stole something from him, and now he has a grudge, and he remembers him. Now that won't come up because the bearer is the magic user, and he has no intent on harming the magic user. Something to think about. And I know generally when I've seen people use the wand of enemy detection, the DM will give the party the hostile intent, not just the bearer of it. So it really depends on how you want to handle it in your campaign. It's an interesting weapon that a lot of people forget how useful it can be, and probably just go meh when they see it. I don't know. You tell me in the comments how you handle the wand of enemy detection, and how far it would go in your campaign. I want to know. What do your players think? Would they be like, meh, and just move forward, or what? Only time will tell, right? Anyway, let's head out for today. Hope you have a great day. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night. God bless, and keep those AD&D fires lit.